I want to ask, as somebody who, obviously is been in the evaluation world, you guys are always working, you guys are always getting ready for the Senior Bowl next year. How much stock do you take into the way the players kind of not just represent themselves, but kind of the way they speak and the way they go about their business here? Is that something that you guys kind of think about, or is it more like, hey, watch this guy get off the
Not as much for us, but I'm always thinking in an NFL scout's mind. I can't get out of that mode, so I'm always kind of evaluating as if I still worked for a team, which I don't, obviously. But so it doesn't. I had a player ask me earlier today about character and how much that matters. For the NFL and even for our game. Like for our game, it almost behooves us sometimes to bring guys that have quote unquote character issues because the league wants to spend time with those guys. So an extra week of spending 7 days with them in Mobile, help them figure them out. It can be a good thing for the team. So we do that sometimes, but for us, it's more about how do they get off the ball? How do they throw the ball? How do they catch the ball?
Yeah. Well, and I know there's certain things you can say, certain things you can't with what you do, but going into this year in the SEC, one of the storylines that I think is one of the most fascinating is how kind of open the SEC West is compared to the way it's been in the past with the run of dominance that Alabama's had. Typically the question's been not who's going to win the West, but who has a chance to maybe knock off Alabama? Will there be a big surprise? When you look at kind of the rosters going into the year, you look at LSU coming off an SEC West championship, returning a lot of guys up front, a lot of young talent on the offensive line, but the quarterback position, Jaden Daniels coming back, KJ Jefferson coming back, a guy like Will Rogers. We know, Carson Beck's going to be new, the Alabama situation. Is there a guy maybe under the radar at the quarterback position in this league, maybe even in the SEC West that you're looking at that may not be getting talked about enough that will be later?
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a bunch of great points right there. And Jaden Daniels, the guy who was just sitting here before me, I mean, his growth from week one to the end of the year was incredible.
Sure.
I saw him play in that Florida State game over in New Orleans and then saw him later in the year against Ole Miss. And when I went back and watched the late tape, that dude grew immensely last year. So they should be the favorite. But in terms of under the radar guys, like Devin Leary at Kentucky, I know that's more in the East.
No, that's fine.
But that'll be interesting to see what that looks like coming out of NC State. And being healthy finally, and they're bringing Liam Cohen back from the NFL. So what does that whole thing look like? But and Joe Milton, there's a lot of intrigue, about what Joe Milton's going to look like when it's his team. He played really well in those last two games when Hendon went down, Hendon Hooker went down. But now we'll see. We'll see what it looks like when he's the guy.
Yeah, can he throw the off speed?
Speaking of quarterbacks, and one guy that y'all didn't mention, who I'm pretty excited about, who ended the year pretty well, that's Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
I think the kid's got an absolute cannon on him. You've seen him grow up just from being on the South Carolina roster. What do you expect from him this year? And he might be a guy that, at the end of the day, South Carolina up front, their roster's not super talented, but you saw what Spencer did with the absolute cannon he has for an arm. What do you think Spencer's going to do this year, and how do you think South Carolina's going to end?
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big year. He was another guy, too. I'd heard, we'd all heard a lot about Spencer over the years with the TV show when he was in high school and all that stuff. I mean, NFL scouts pay attention to that stuff, and I've heard some of the buzz. I'll say this, I expect a big year because talking to the people inside the building, they expect a big year. They said he had a phenomenal spring. I've said this before. If you just watch the Tennessee game from last year where he threw 6 of his 18 touchdowns in one game, I mean, he looked like a really high, he looked like a first or second round draft pick in that game. Now, there was other points in the year where it didn't look like that, but I think it'll even out. I think this year coming back, he's got some nice skill people to get the ball to. So, no, I expect a big year for Spencer.
All right, look, back to the sports talk in 1 second. But if you want to play good, you got to what?
You got to look good.
Well, how are you going to look good if your fits aren't right? Huh?
I know one place you can go.
Tell me about it.
I think it's Indochino.
Exactly.
Suits on deck.
Indochino. It's time to take your style to the next level. Dressing for success can help you look better and be more confident. So whether you're attending an important meeting or networking event or simply want to impress your colleagues, our friends at Indochino have everything you need. I ordered a gray suit from them. This was probably 8 weeks ago. Got fitted up, perfect fit, just like a tailor made it. Wore it to a wedding. Wore it to the rehearsal dinner the night before for the wedding. Love Indochino. Tell the people about the stuff you got.
I ordered a black suit.
Right? You got a full suit?
Yeah, full suit.
Nice.
100%. Come on now. I like to act like a secret agent during some weekends, so I just wear the black suit around. And
great. So now you're a spy.
Pretend I'm talking.
I'm on a show with two brothers who are spies.
I'm just pretending I'm talking to my earpiece.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't kill him.
Well, you know what? If you're going to be a spy, at least look good in an Indochino suit. It's not just shirts. Indochino has high-end suits at affordable prices. Now, you can look great at every event. Indochino's camp shirts are the perfect addition to your summer wardrobe. You have to check out their site or at least browse through the options. They literally have a shirt perfect for the beach, a barbecue, camping, or any occasion. Go to Indochino.com and use promo code BOOSTER to get 10% off any purchase that's $399 or more. That's Indochino, INDOCHINO.com, and use promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER.
Jim, what's it going to take for Michigan to win the national championship?
So listen, hear me out. So I ran into two guys in the hallway, Darius Robinson from Mizzou and Javon Foster from Mizzou, their left tackle and their defensive lineman, both from Detroit. One went to West Bloomfield High, where Ronald Bellamy, one of Michigan's coaches, was at. So, I mean, how are we losing all these guys out of our backyard? We had Ruka Rororo committed to the Senior Bowl last year, the D-tackle from Clemson. He's from River Rouge, right down River, Detroit. Like, I mean, Michigan,
I blame Cone.
Yeah, it's David's fault.
they're already good, but look at all the talent leaving the backyard. No, I mean, this has been a really cool, fun couple years for Michigan fans and Michigan alums. But yeah, they need to take that next step. But I know they've got 7 senior offensive linemen that are going to be on our watch list. That's never happened. So you're literally going to have 2 guys that have, at minimum, priority free agent NFL draft grades that aren't even going to be starting on their college team. Most of those guys would be the best linemen on their college team.
Yeah.
They're not even going to be starting in Ann Arbor, so that's a great place to start.
It sounds super rough to be Michigan.
Yeah, it sounds tough, David. I don't know how y'all going to do it.
Look, when I first met you guys, that's not even, 24 months ago, something like that. I said everything Michigan wants goes through Ohio, because unless you beat your biggest rival, you can't even win the division. If you don't win the division, you can't go to the conference championship.
That's right.
If you don't go there, you can't win the championship. You can't make the college football playoff. Last 2 seasons, they've done that, and all of those things fell in line. And so now the next natural order of progression is to win a national championship. So I think it's a fair question. And they've added the beat Georgia period to practice now, Jim. So if that doesn't make a difference, I don't know what to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, from that TCU game last year, we saw what happened in that TCU game. We had like 5 TCU guys in the Senior Bowl last year. All 4 of the 5 guys were on defense, and they played the best game of their lives in that Michigan game. Like Dylan Horton had 4 sacks against Michigan, and when they came to Mobile for the game, I stopped each one of them like, you really had to have your best game against my.
That's exactly right.
You really had to do
it's like Little Giants when they're like, "There's that one time." That one time was against Michigan.
That's right.
Jim, I do want to ask before we let you go.
Yep.
Obviously, we're at SEC Media Days, but I look at the Pac-12. I look at the amount of quarterbacks over there.
Yep.
Caleb Williams, obviously, Michael Penix Jr., but a kid I really have my eye on, I like a lot, and I say kid, but Jaden Delora from Arizona, a guy I'm very, very excited to watch. But my main question is this the deepest you have ever seen the Pac-12 from a quality team standpoint, at least going into the year? Because I can't remember a time when I've been able to look at the amount of Pac-12 teams and say, all right, legit.
It's been a long time. When I started scouting, I was scouted on the West Coast back in like 2000, 2001. That's when Pete was getting it cranked up at USC. And there was some good, Washington was good back then. There were some good teams back, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, this year's quarterback class across the country is really deep. We're seeing it in the SEC, but out there, I mean, then you talk about Bo Nix and Cam Rising at Utah. I mean, there's some that league's got some really good quarterbacks. So it's gonna balance out the country. You know, we're gonna be able to watch good quarterbacks at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. We're gonna be able to watch good quarterbacks at 2:30.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to watch good quarterbacks at 9 o'clock at night. So
I can't wait.
It should be a really fun year.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sleepless nights for defensive coordinators across the country. Believe me, I know.
This blitz.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. Jim, it's always great to see you, my friend. You do a fantastic job. We love every time we can hook up. Everything you guys do with the Senior Bowl is first class, and we're excited about this next year. Great crop of players coming out again.
Yeah, guys. Can't wait to get you back down.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
we're
can't wait.
excited.
Get you back
One of our
home.
favorite times of the year. Make sure you subscribe. Jim Nagey, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. I said that right twice. That's a win. We're out.
YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's catch you on the next one.